Hello, everyone. We want to talk about mathematics of personal finance. And the first topic we discuss is about banking and the service charges that banks normally charge their customers. What is a service charge, first of all? It's a fee, basically, that is charged by the financial institution or the bank for providing customers with certain services. For example, if you have a car loan and every month you have to pay $400, and this happens for like 5 years, then it's not like every month you go to the bank and you make your payment, in person. What you do, you ask for a pre-authorized payment sort of plan, and the bank every month on a certain date charges your account automatically and pays to the car dealership where you have to um, make your payment, or pays whatever financial institution you borrowed money from. So pre-authorized payments is just one transaction. And then you may have a car insurance premium that every month you have to pay the same amount. So again, that counts as a transaction in your bank account. Bill payments is just another one. You have cell phone bill, you have other bills. So all those bill payments for utilities, cell phone, everything else, those bill payments count as a transaction. Debit card purchases, you go to some store, you buy a pair of shoes or whatever you want, and then you use your debit card, and that purchase counts as a transaction. Cash withdrawal, deposits, all of these are different types of transactions that every person has it, and the bank of course has a certain policy, and they charge you with a fees for this of course service charge. Sometimes some banks, they say if you have a minimum balance of, let's say, $3,000 in your account, then they don't charge you, or actually they waive the transaction fees or the service charge fees. But from one bank to another bank, one financial institution to the other, policies are different. So here we have a Bank A policy. It says that we are charging you $4.15 for up to 10 transactions per month. Okay, so even if you have one transaction per month or you have 10 transactions per month, it doesn't matter. You have to pay $4.15. And then 75 cents is charged for each additional transaction. Okay, so this is one policy suggested by one bank. Another bank has a different policy. They say the first 5 transactions is free. So if you have like a couple of transactions, a couple of withdrawals, or like 3, 4 bill payments per month, then that's free. Okay, you don't pay anything. That's a different policy. And then the next 10 transactions are 50 cents each, okay, for every month. And then any additional transaction is $1 each. So beyond that 10 transaction. So you see that different banks, different financial institutions have different policies. Even in a specific bank, there are different types of accounts, and those types of accounts have different policies. So we have a customer who had 15 transactions per month, and that was in the month of April. We want to calculate the service charge that he has to pay. So up to the first 10 transactions, he has to pay $4.15 anyway, right? So for the 10 of the 15 transactions, he's going to pay $4.15, okay? And then beyond the 10 transactions, up to 15 transactions that he had, that would be 5 extra transactions, right? So I'm going to go 15, take away 10, that would be 5 extra additional transactions. And the policy says they charge 75 cents for additional transactions. So I have to multiply this by 0.75. And of course, using a calculator, I can tell you how much the bank is going to charge this customer who had 15 transactions happening in his account. So $4.15 plus 5 times 75 cents, that will be $7.90. Okay, so for the month of April, this customer has to pay $7.90 as a service charge. Okay. In the month of May, this person had only 3 transactions, and for 3 he has to pay $4.15. So there is no extra charge. So you see that 1 month you pay a bigger amount, the other month you pay less amount, depending on the number of transactions you had in your account and depending on the policy of the bank. In the month of June, there was 19 transactions happening. So for the first 10, $4.15 was paid, and then the next 10 transactions, so that would be um, for the next, not 10, this was 19, right? So 19 minus 10 is going to be 9 additional transactions. For each one of them, he has to pay 75 cents, and this can be calculated. So for the first 10, he's paying $4.15, and for the remaining 9 transactions, beyond 10 transactions, he's going to pay 75 cents for each one of those, and that gives you $10.90. So we use a calculator to find these amounts. 9 transactions per month, that would be the same amount, $4.15. 12 would be $4.15, and then 12 minus 10, that means 2 additional transactions, each one 75 cents. That gives you $4.15 plus $1.50, I guess. So we use a calculator, and the answer is $5.65. So $5.65. So for every single month, we did find how much the service charge was. Okay, and some months they paid more, some months they paid less. Okay, and this is how you calculate the amount of service charge based on the number of transactions per month you have, according to a given policy by a financial institution. This is another institution, another bank, and they're saying that 5 transactions are free. So if he had, in the month of April, you had 10 transactions per month, it means the first 5 is just free, you pay $0, right? And then 10 minus 5 is the additional 5. And for those, you have to pay 50 cents each. Okay, so it will be the $2.50. So let me change the marker here. Okay, so 5 transactions was free. You didn't pay anything. The extra 5 beyond the first 5 is 50 cents each. So that means you pay $2.50 for 10 transactions per month in the month of April. In May, this person had 14 transactions. Again, the first 5 is free. So that means that 14 minus 5, that would be 9 transactions. And this would be $4.50, because the first 5 of the 14 was free. That leaves you with 9 transactions, and the next 10 transactions are 50 cents each. So 9 times 50 cents, that would be $4.50. In the next month, in June, the person had only 6 transactions. The first 5 of them was free, so basically there was only 1 extra transaction, and that is worth 50 cents. So the answer would be just 50 cents, or $0.5, right? And then the next month is 19. So we have 19 transactions. So the first 5 is free. So 19 minus 5, that would be 14. But that 14 itself, 10 of them are worth 50 cents, but then beyond 10, they're worth $1 each. So what we're going to do, we're going to say, okay, so the first 5 is free. I'm not counting that. But then 19 minus 5, that's 14. But out of 14, 10 of them, if I count it separately, because those are cheap, 50 cents, the remaining 4 would be $1 each. So I multiply this by $1. And then we have 10 transactions, each one is 50 cents. And we have 5 transactions, each one is like $0 basically. So 5 times $0, 10 times 50 cents. So that would be like 15 transactions right there. Up to 19, we have 4 more. 14 minus 10 is like 4. Each one of them is $1. So you do the math here, you get like $4. That's $9. So we end up with $9 for the month of July. And for the month of August, okay, we have 24 transactions per month. So again, the first 5 is free. So I go 5 times $0, okay? And then if you take away 5 from 24, that would leave you with 20. That would leave you with 19 transactions. And out of 19, the next 10 transactions are 50 cents. So out of 19, the first 10 is each 50 cents. And then the remaining 9, okay, remaining 9 is not $1 each. So multiply that one with 1. So we get $9 and $5. That would be, what is 9 plus 5? 9 plus 5 is $14. So this person is going to pay $14 for the month of August. Okay, so this way we calculate the amount of service charge that every bank charges any customer, depending on the number of transactions they have and depending on the type of policy. Now, you may say, which policy is better? Well, first of all, there's so many different policies, so many different rules, and you have to, first of all, shop around. You have to ask to gain the information to see what is the service charge policy at this bank, at that bank, at this financial institution, that financial institution. And then you have to see what your needs are. You may be a person who uses, his or her account for like 3 times at most, 4 times at most per month. So if that is the case, I would go by this bank because the first 5 transactions is free, so you don't pay anything. But if you are a famous businessman, businesswoman, you're doing all sorts of transactions, you're doing international business, there's lots of transactions happening in your account, then perhaps some other policy would be a better fit for you. Okay, so for example, here, if you're doing up to 10 transactions, you pay $4.15. But even if you do 1 transaction, still you pay $4.15. So perhaps this is not that much of a good plan to select by a customer who is just using, his or her bank account for 2-3 times a month, right? So you have to see which policy matches your needs, basically. So this wraps up the first part that shows you how we calculate the service charges that are charged by the banks. We will continue with more lectures in this area of personal finance. Thank you.